Hello YouTube, this is Ashwin and welcome to Banter City. Today I'm with a very special guest. He is an anti-natalist activist, I believe, and I am relatively new to anti-natalism, so I'm gonna talk to a stranger. He's also a wrestling fan. His name is Sethu. Hey Sethu, welcome.
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Yes, I'm sorry?
How are you? I'm good.
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
I'm good. It's my
Okay.
first time I'm.
Yes. So, Sethu, tell me about yourself. What do you do? And
Yeah. Okay, so I am I'm a software guy, which
Oh.
obviously all the Indians are into software, right? So that's nothing new. Okay.
Yeah.
So I won't say I'm an anti-natalist activist, but I do support as a person into that activism. Okay. Well, my belief is having kids just to keep our environment is just not worth it. In fact, it's done. That's what I said. Yeah. I'm from Pune, and yeah. So as you said, I can everything. Yeah.
Okay. Sethu, can you bit more clear because your voice keeps breaking. Although I got whatever you said, but it's a little.
Okay, so I'm not audible enough for the podcast, right?
Yes. Now you're audible. A moment.
Okay.
It was not. Okay. Now this is perfect. Stay
Yeah, this
where
is
you are. Okay.
okay.
Okay. So before you guys ponder what antinatalism is, let me explain. Antinatalism is a philosophy that's been around for a long time, but it's gaining prominence for a while now, mainly because of, as far as I know, it's because of this book by David Benatar, and he's doing shows with people, famous people like Jordan Peterson and Sam Harris. So his book is named Better to Never Have Been, and he talked about the idea of antinatalism, which states that having kids or procreation is immoral, and why he believes that it causes unnecessary suffering. Well, he goes on to list a lot of reasons, but I'm not totally satisfied with whatever reasons he lists. I have my own agenda, my own beliefs, and my own reason for leaning towards anti-nihilism. But first, we'll talk to our guest Sethu and what he has to say about his version of anti-nihilism. Sethu, over to you.
Yeah, so the way, I have I'll be honest. Okay.
Hmm.
It's just that I understood the highlights of anti-natalism. Because, you have to be a bit child, you have to be child free, because you can't deplete the environment just because you want to have kids. Okay.
Right.
You build your parks, you build your, have so much traffic going on. Why? Because there's so much population. Okay.
Yeah.
It's not the fault of animals, it's just the fault of the so many humans out there.
Yeah.
Okay. So humans are becoming so selfish. Okay.
Right.
For instance, we are going to even if you see the tiger army being killed. Why? Because they wanted to have some industries out there. Why are the industries being made? Just because of the humans. Right. Okay, so this is there is seriously no need. It's that's a age-old tradition which people blindly follow. That hey, you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids, just for no reason.
Right.
Okay, they don't have any end goals for that. Just they'll say blindly that hey, this is what you're supposed to follow. It's like the blind leading the blind.
Exactly.
Okay. So that's the thing. Yeah.
Yes, and the point you're making is wonderful, and I think most of even my opposition towards procreation, I mean, I don't vehemently oppose it, but personally, on a personal level, I'm not totally leaning towards that direction. So yes, the point that you're making is that we are exploiting the natural resources and we are being
Exactly.
pain in the ass for the planet, depleting everything, troubling all the natural cycles, causing global warming, and blah 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 blah. And Setu, I believe this, while antinatalism can sort out the problems of the planet, and also there, so do you totally believe that the planet is better off without humans, or that
Absolutely.
agree?
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely. I believe every human is a selfish pick. Every human on this planet. It's
mhm.
me, better be me, it better be you. Every person in this planet is a selfish pick.
Yeah.
Okay. So they are like, hey, they'll think about themselves, they won't think about others, and it's like you need to destroy something, self-pleasure, they'll do it. Okay. It just depends on the moderation level that how much a person thinks that, hey, this is wrong or this is right. Okay.
Mhm.
So I feel that, yeah, anti-natalism is supposed to like curtail it up to a lot. Humans are causing so much issues. If you look at it, when humans were not there on this planet, assume that the Earth was a beautiful place. The concept of pollution never existed, right? Until humans came into picture.
Yes. Well, there was, I mean, meteors falling and destroying dinosaurs.
Right.
All this.
Right.
So, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. So your view is a bit extreme, although it's slightly different compared to, and the view that you're adopting is highly, I would say, nature naturalistic.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but continue. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like not my upbringing, but the way I notice. Like, for an example, if you look at the beaches of Bombay,
Okay.
who's crashing those beaches? Is it a dog? Okay, dog poops, but is it a dog? Is it a cat? No, it's humans. Those beaches are so beautiful. Look at our rivers, right? So like you immediately could point out, even like I'll give an example, like
Yeah,
small things.
but beauty, I believe, is a subject to experience, and without humans to appreciate, I don't think there will be any concept of beauty. So your total opposition is startles me a bit.
Sorry?
What I mean is that beauty.
Yeah.
You're talking about beauty, right? Beauty as
Exactly.
well as the diversity that we are destroying. So
Right.
I do agree that it's being destroyed at one point, but do you think complete elimination is the answer? I mean, it's as good as non-existent. If humans are completely eliminated from the face of Earth, I don't think there is anything that would even admire what is there. I mean, it would also be
Like the way I see it, it's like I do understand that hey, someone needs to appreciate the beauty.
yes.
Okay. But what happens is like let's assume I'll give a very weird example. Like assume there are like 10 people out of 10 people, 6 people enjoy the beauty of a beach.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
But there are 4 people who actually don't care about the beach. They end up destroying it. Okay. So who is at blame? Are you going to say it's at the blame at the 6 people or the 4 people or collectively or the 10 people? Okay. So it's like even they say like let's say one bad apple spoils the bunch.
Okay.
So that is what's happening is like hey, even if you say that hey, you want to appreciate the beauty, but appreciating the beauty is one thing, maintaining the beauty is a different. Okay. Which is just not happening. Just not happening anywhere. Right? People just like even why are there so minorities in activists? Why are there so minorities into someone aiding into beauty of something? Whereas there is a majority of people willing to destroy it. So I feel existence is just not needed. It's just that we came into this planet, but if you look at it, it's just say that okay, someone needed to appreciate the beauty. Appreciating the beauty is one thing, but if appreciating beauty is just a feeling, destruction is actual reality, right?
Well,
So feeling and destruction is so different.
okay, I do get your point, but here's something I would like to put forward. So imagine a class of students, say 20 students, okay? A teacher is teaching 20 students, and you don't expect all of them to excel at what the teacher is teaching. Some of them won't be attentive, some of them will, play pranks with your friends and do stuff like that, which will irritate the teacher. Now, as the class becomes bigger and bigger, the order of prank and everything, the disorder begins to increase. So, while
Hello?
yes, so
Yeah, continue.
okay, so the same thing has happened with regards to human population. As population has exploded more and more, we are having this environmental issues rising exponentially.
Right. I'll give one more example. I'm not sure, like they say anti-natalists are very closely related to vegans, right? Okay, veganism. Okay. So to give an example, in the past, okay, people used to drink milk at a lower quantity. Okay. In fact, milk is supposed to be a very costly thing in the past times.
Okay.
Okay. It's just that somehow people came to know that milk is, there is a huge market in milk.
Okay.
Okay. So initially what happened like was cows were not exploited to give milk.
Oh.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
So now, since they were not exploited, it was good. But now what happened now? What is the reality right now? Every cow is being exploited to give milk. Okay. So even if there are innocent people who think that, hey, this is, like it's not their fault, but in reality, to suffice the majority of the market, okay, the exploitation is happening.
Okay.
I hope you are able to understand, right? So it's like in the past, there's just not this concept of exploitation. Just so somehow someone on the market just went with it.
Yeah, I'm getting what you're saying. What you're saying is that with increasing demand, we are trying to make a product out of everything. Due to that,
I won't say it's the demand. It's like someone created a buzz, and because of that buzz, demand was right. It's like you gave some alternative to that. Definitely, trust behind the alternative.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, but we've also had a lot of technological developments.
Right.
So where does that fit in? Imagine if we could, engineer technology that could solve a lot of problems with regards to human health and well-being. So imagine the future humans' genome gets modified into something that is disease resistant, and maybe if we could engineer sustainable technologies to make the planet survive better. So
Right.
would you still be rigid in your position of antinatalism?
I in the sense like believe that hey, like okay, there must be advancements. We are going into that direction. Okay. But there is only a minority going into that direction. Okay. Unless and until like majority goes into the direction, then the entire concept goes out of sight. Okay. So even if you try to like let's say in today's world, if you try to say that hey, don't try to pollute your earth, don't try to do this and that, okay, is anyone, people are going to laugh at you because they just don't believe in you.
Okay.
Okay. They just want to have fun. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the case, like it happens with everyone. Even technological advancements is going to happen, but at a certain point people just aren't interested. Like how many actors are there? Like any kind of actors. You can imagine, right? The sample number is so minor.
I'm sorry?
Like how many, like let's say forget activists, but like activists, any type of activists in general. How many activists are there?
Well, definitely.
Everyone should be fighting for the cause. Like India get freedom because everyone fought for the cause.
Yes.
But now in different is like okay, there is a cause, but the very minor people are willing to fight. Majority doesn't even care. So that is where the opposition, takes control.
Well, India got freedom mainly because we understood our position. We understood that we are enslaved by British, and the way we opposed the British was more. I mean, we didn't get freedom like most other countries got by fighting for it. We got it more like the British handed over it to us. So I'm not sure. But yes, we did understand that we were enslaved by the British, and people need to understand the responsibility towards the environment.
Exactly.
But again, with I'll say around for the past 100 years, education has been improving. Yet even educated people end up making the same mistake, following the same.
Exactly.
So I don't really see the impact it's producing. So what went wrong? Do you think with the education system?
I don't think it's anything wrong with the education system. I never feel anything is wrong with the education system. Like even if you think, like speak to a non-educated person, it's about the thought process.
Okay.
Okay. The heart should be in the place, regardless how educated you are. Okay. If you have a healthy conversation even with a non-educated person, he will actually give a very good list of points.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's like most, sometimes I feel these educated people, even if they have stats in front of them, they just don't care. Okay. They're like, okay, there is this ongoing problem going on. Okay. We have to live with it. They don't think, okay, we have to curtail the problem. They think they have to live with it. The classic example is like, let's say Delhi. Okay. In Delhi, there is so much air pollution.
Yeah.
Okay. People are definitely at the verge of dying in Delhi, but despite there being so much educated people and a good government out there, why aren't they able to control this?
Right. I mean, they're still using, they're still exploring crackers, and they're still using their vehicles. There's no
Exactly, vehicles, industries, factories out there. There's so much things. So educated people, non-educated, that just never comes into factor. In fact, I feel the non-educated people are much better off because they want to live a simple life. They don't want to cause any harm as such.
Yeah.
They're just like, okay, technological advancements help in terms of medical treatments and all that stuff. But when this industrial things, then like increasing the pollution level, depleting the environment. That is when your education is actually taking a wrong direction.
Okay.
In fact, we are being taught how to be an industrialist. That is the education.
Right. And also people are turning a blind eye to whatever exploitation that's happening. So
Right.
I'll present my opposition to whatever the world, the way that is. So here's what I think. So usually we humans, it's not easy to live. I mean, there's definitely mental strain, but also there is a whole lot of physical pain that every person has to go through to navigate through life. And
Right.
and there's so much, so you get married, you get into a family, and you give birth to children. So right at that moment, no matter how good a person you are, how much you care for the society, how much you care for the environment, the moment the family comes, your attention gets diverted. It becomes narrow to, my family, my place,
Right.
my that.
Right.
And you totally end up like a hypocrite, even though your inner motives are of noble virtue.
Right.
So this is what I would like to personally, combat
Right.
with regards to as a responsible citizen of the earth.
Right.
And also, I'm sure you've heard of the John Lennon song "Imagine." So that's the kind of world that I envision to bring in. He says, "Imagine all the people living for today." So most of us don't live for today. We live because we live at the fate of money and greed. So we try to
Right.
make our position more and more secure for the future, and we almost die today to make our future secure. So nobody lives for
Right.
today, and the system that we are living under, that is capitalism, consumerism, has made us more isolated from the universe, or our species, our human species as a whole. It has got more selfishness.
Exactly.
So what is it?
When you were talking about education, I will give a different view for education. In fact, education is destroying the environment. You will be asking how. Okay.
Yeah.
So, like, why does everyone want to get educated? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wants to find a good job, or he wants to find, he wants to be secure in life, earn something good. Okay.
Right.
When you earn, exactly what happens? You end up buying more resources from the land.
Right.
then exactly what you're doing. You're depleting the sources of the earth.
Right.
Okay, can you imagine like if every person wants to be educated, his end goal is to actually take some part what he feels he owes to this planet. But in reality he doesn't owe anything to the planet.
And we've kind of created a system in which everybody, for example, there's 1 billion people in the world, everybody gets educated, and it's the same old shit. Why should everybody go to the same old shit, despite the fact that not all are going to do the same thing, We're doing a lot
Right.
of useless shit. I mean, we do something, we work hard, we study something, and we work something else. I mean, nothing fits at all.
Right.
So, a lot of things that we as a society do, we as humans do, are pointless in the greater context of our life.
Right.
And
like humans have spread more hatred. Like there's like so much hatred. It's among themselves. It's among the species.
yes,
You can see so much hatred going around you, right?
definitely.
It's like who has created it? Is it animals that's created any hatred?
It's this idea of sectarianism. My community.
Yeah. But the root is like anti-natalism into some extent. Like, hey, you are having kids, then if you have kids, you are going to fight for your own survival, right?
Yeah.
This is the end goal which is happening.
Yes, this selfishness gets extended to family, and it kind of builds a wall around you, making you more and more suffocated rather than rather than giving yourself to the society and making you feel more liberated.
Right.
And what is your take on religion? I believe you must have been brought up by Hindu parents. Sethu is a Hindu name, right?
Right.
So, what's your take on religion, and at what age did you denounce it? I think you have denounced religion. I believe so. What do you say?
I feel religion is nothing but a scam.
Okay.
I feel it's a scam because, like, hey, if something good is happening from religion, definitely why not? Okay. But if all the temples are behind your money, okay.
Yeah.
If they are giving you false hope, it's a different thing. Okay. But the person should have a hope on his own. Right. It's like I do believe in God, but I believe in my version of God.
Okay.
It exists, but it's like I don't want to worship him. I don't want to spend too much money on him.
Yeah.
I'd rather spend money on some charities.
Uh-huh.
Okay. But in reverse, what happens in these temples? You can see what exactly is happening. If you have seen the Oh My God movie, that has beautifully portrayed exactly what is happening.
Yeah.
So religion is nothing but like, okay, people, even in PK movies you've seen, okay, they're so much like, hey, they just, it gives self-assurance.
Yeah.
It's a marketing scheme to give you self-assurance, nothing else.
Right. It's
They even...
yes, clever psychological trick.
Yeah, it's a psychological trick that, hey, you do something good is going to happen. But what are the chances that good is going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And if something bad happens, then say, mere sath aisa kyun hua, this and that. So that's like, it's a complete scam.
Right.
I know it's a strong word. People are going to, blast me on this. But hey, it's the reality.
Well, I won't totally call it a scam. I mean, it has a lot of upsides. I mean, not just from a psychological point of view, but also, as you can see,
okay, let me put a different take on it.
Value
okay.
systems.
Like whatever has been written in, let's say, Bible and all that stuff, it's so many good points, but how many of them are following it?
Yeah. I mean, it's
okay,
it's just human nature that we follow.
Right. So if everyone is going to follow his own will, then, I think more of a thing is religion is a scapegoat.
Okay.
Yeah.
And yes, I mean, it's more like I mean, there's a lot of bullshit that gets passed under religion and nobody bats an eye.
Right.
And also, there's something that we need. I mean, we all long for inner connection, ideas like self-transcendence, all these are needed, which we gain access through meditation and other things like prayers. So, although religion has a lot of faulty goods in it, there are some
Right.
precious, useful goods
Exactly.
can benefit a person psychologically and enable him to function better in society.
Right.
So, what are some personal things that you still find useful from religion?
Useful as in, like, okay, the good thing is like, okay, they actually put in the good values. If you read any of the books out there, they have some good values. Okay.
Right.
So they had a good right intention behind it. Okay. It's just that again, I feel that if you follow just based on what it says, then it's a good thing. Okay. But if you're trying to create a market around it,
Yeah.
that is a bad thing.
Okay, speaking of markets, I have a bone to pick with organizations, not just business or religious organizations, but also, things like charity organizations. So here's what happens. People, give all their money. I mean, donate to charity. They feel good because they've donated to charity. So it's like, I believe it's like copping out your responsibility. While donating
Right.
to charity is one thing, at the same time, you
But
should also step in the field and
yeah.
work with them. Yes. So many people I've seen, they just donate and sit in their homes and watch TV. What the hell are you doing with your life? You're supposed to be there and do it. I mean, I don't know. You don't really care. You're more concerned.
I'll give an example. Like, I'm not sure if you heard of this animal shelter called Mission Possible. Okay. So I used to do very minutely donate. In fact, I just last year started donating them food. Okay. Then I realized that, hey, they actually have another place which has around 300 dogs. Okay. And it's a huge struggle to give a free bath to all the 300 dogs because they have around 4 to 6 people. Can you imagine 4 to 6 people trying to give a free bath to 300 dogs?
Yeah, that's tough, really. And the dogs,
That's like
too hard to.
And you have to give a free bath. So there's a lot of manpower needed as well.
Yeah.
If you look at it, like especially like, okay, compare this example with a langar. In langar, people voluntarily work. But like it's a difference of opinion that, hey, people think, okay, that they need to work and then they don't feel like you need to work, right?
Yeah.
So charities are good, but at the very same time, fast forwarding your problems doesn't solve anything.
Right. And I would very much like to volunteer for some charity. So if you know any, you can always share. Okay. Because
like what kind of charities you are interested in? I kind of work for animal shelters, but not completely. I can suggest them. There's so
more like
many out there.
NGO I'd like to volunteer for, because my weekends usually go in reading books and just time pass activities.
Right.
Sometimes I do podcasting as well, but this is not usual. So I would very much like to, make most of my time in assisting someone. So
Sorry?
that we can talk later. Okay.
Right.
I believe we've talked a lot in the
Right.
past 20 minutes, and I think this is a useful conversation.
Yeah, that's a useful conversation.
There was a lot of frustration involved, and
Right.
I'm so glad that we got to,
Connect and talk about it.
Yes. So Sethu, thanks a lot for joining me, and I really hope that this is not the last of our conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll
Absolutely.
again, and it was a pleasure to have you here.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be on this podcast. Sure.
Thank you, Sethu. All right.
Yeah.
Have a good day, Sethu. Thanks
Have a good
all
day.
for listening, and until next time, it's Ashwin signing off. Bye.
Yeah.